So you want to know how one of my clients went from working his 9 to 5 to now owning and operating 8 trucks?
I have a contract now.
Okay, contract.
I have a contract now with a company that is $18,000 a week per truck.
Okay.
We have 3 trucks currently running and 2 more trucks to start in the next
So you're onboarding 2 more
weeks or so.
Stan, this is a program that I wish somebody had done for me because it would have saved me so much money, so much time, so much sweat equity on the side of the road breaking down with my own truck.
Me and my family just went to Mexico in November, but I could still work from there if I needed to. It didn't stop business.
You just need the cell phone and Wi-Fi.
Right. And I like the advice you gave me because I was hitting you up for 4. I was ready just to go in.
And what did I tell you?
You told me no, just go ahead and wait it out.
Yeah.
You get 1, scale it, see how it is, and move forward like that. So I would wake up 6 in the morning and get on the phone with dispatch.
Right.
I don't even think she likes me that much.
That's okay, it worked out.
We're actually really cool, but we'll get on the phone, hey, I needed 3 days,
This is what I need my week to add up to.
Yeah.
What's up, you guys? This is Casey from the Compass Circle, and I'm back with yet another YouTube video. Today's YouTube topic is going to be our much awaited turnkey trucking program. And although I make a lot of media and I do a lot of promotional videos, I thought it would be best to actually bring you guys one of our turnkey clients. So here we have today with us Mr. Ronaldo Scherer. Am I saying that right?
You got it.
Okay. And he's actually one of our turnkey clients, and he's been in the program. And so I decided to have him come and tell you guys, you know, the beauty of our program, the ins and outs, the pain points, and we're going to get into that. So stay tuned. Make sure you guys click like, share, and subscribe for more details. So Ronaldo.
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing today?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm actually, I'm pretty honored that you decided to come all the way out here for me. I appreciate that. So I want to start there.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I don't get to, I see you guys at the end when we set up all the calls. We'll get to that, but I've never done this. So again, thank you. I'm really appreciative
Well, I'm honored to be the first then.
Look at that, you are the first.
Yes, let's go.
So we're gonna get right into it because I have a couple questions that I want to ask you because it's gonna be interesting to see from your perspective. I know what I do and what it looks like on my end, but I never really get to, you know, see and hear your whole full story. So we're gonna get right into it. So
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna assume that you probably found me on social media, right?
I did. I found you on Instagram.
Okay. And so when did you find me on Instagram?
I believe I found you, it had to be early 2021.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't think I made the decision until about September, August of 21 when we were gonna actually go with you. I did a lot of research, different people here and there. A lot of people are doing this automated, you know, trucking program. But, you know, to be honest with you, there's nothing like the drive of a black woman. I don't know if I gotta say that, but it's serious.
It's
like,
a thing.
You know, it's really a thing. Just the way you pushed your marketing, you know, all of that. It really was what drew me in, you know, and then the conversation me and you had.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. What do you remember? Was on your Explorer page? Did somebody recommend you, or what did you? How did you come across me?
It was on my Explorer page. So typing in trucking,
right?
You know how that goes. Then it's
so you typed in trucking.
So I typed in trucking. I started looking for it in myself. It was more or less looking for. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Right.
So I was just looking for different kind of programs, and you know, doing my Google searching, and trucking is one that came up.
So, and so you saw me.
Rabbit hole.
Okay.
And you were the one that stood out.
Okay. Do you remember what the post was? No.
You know how long that was.
I'm sure it was. Was it something promotional, educational?
It was promotional.
Okay.
It was definitely promotional. And then you know you start looking, and then you see the educational facts, and then you know you start seeing how much you could make, and you start, and you also let us know you're down, you know, the things that could happen.
Down for the cause.
Yeah, it definitely draws you in.
Right.
You know, and what it also made me do is start talking to other people about it. Just start talking, reaching out to my friends. You know anything about trucking? Reaching out to other people. Right. And not too many people did at that point. It seems like after I talked to you, it blossomed. Right. In front of me. So it definitely, I can say you started this for me.
Okay. Well, you said you were a serial entrepreneur.
Right.
So what were you doing prior to the trucking and all that?
Yeah. So I have a real estate company.
Okay.
And I have a title company.
Okay.
And I work with my wife, and she has a law firm.
Okay.
You know, and she touches a couple of different parts of law. So those were the things that we were dibbling and dabbling in, and you know, still kept our 9 to 5.
Right.
And be honest with you, this kind of took me out of the 9 to 5.
Right.
So when this really kicked off for us, we had
all hands on deck. So turnkey is not, it's a very high ticket offer, you know, because we put together the whole program for you, and, you know, we find you the owner operator. So it's not cheap, you know, I'm saying that to let y'all know it's not cheap.
Not at all.
Right. So it is, you know, it can be costly. And so to ask, you know, anybody, let alone black people, right?
Right.
You know, to spend that kind of money, you know, you have young kids, you have a wife, you know, y'all have businesses. What made you actually decide to, hey, I'm going to go through with this?
Oh, because scared money doesn't make any money.
Right.
Right. So for us, it did, like I said, it took a while. Like I believe I initially reached out in like, you know, April, May.
Okay.
And we really didn't make the decision until,
Right.
like I said, August, September. So it did still take a while for me to do it. But like I said, it never, your marketing kind of still pushed it forward.
Yeah.
You know, just the way you handle things. And I mean, you didn't make a promise, but
Right.
you still gave facts. So
Right.
that's what draws business, right? So for us, that is what it was. And yeah, we were like, well, it's damn expensive.
Right.
But again, like I said, scare money don't make any
Gotta
money.
pay to play.
And you have to.
What was it about trucking in particular? Because you said you did type in trucking. So was that a industry that you were already kind of, you know,
Not at
curious
all.
about? No?
Not at all. I was looking for recession-proof stuff.
Right, okay.
You know, and that was like one of the tops on the list. You
Right.
look and it's, you know, trucking and then, you know, da-da-da. But that's always one of the tops on the list. You're always going to have the trucks on the road. So it was, for me, it was a no-brainer.
Right. So you said that you saw it in April. I think y'all purchased it. Did you say August, I think?
I think we purchased in August.
Okay, so on the day or the weeks or the, you know, hours prior to you actually clicking purchase, were you guys kind of like just zeroed in, or okay, we're gonna do it this week, but what actually made you click buy, like I'm gonna do this today?
Okay, well, I had a conversation with you.
Okay, well, boom, there it is.
You know, me and you talked, I think we talked 2 or 3 times beforehand. We had our consult, you know, and I mean, you were like straight and, you know, direct with me, and you're like, let me know if you want to do it.
Right.
You know, and after our, you know, 30 minutes and talked to my wife, my uncle, my aunts, my support system, you know, we went back and forth. We did numbers. We looked at, and you have to look at everything.
Right.
Not everything works.
Right.
It could have not worked.
Right.
You know, so we looked at all of that. If it didn't work, or you know, if we fall back on, like I said, we kept our jobs. We
Right.
didn't just, all right, this is going to be it, and then we're done. I mean, again, we have things to fall back on just in case. But if you worked hard at it, we understood that it could be really promising, and which it's turned out to be so far.
Look at that. I'm glad to hear that. Actually, I want to say something because you made a good point. Back then, I was doing one-on-one consultations. Now we've grown. We have over 200 people in the program, so there's no way I can take those calls anymore.
Right.
So now if somebody wants to, you know, get involved, there's a process they have to go to. They can go to the website. They can watch the tutorial videos, like an hour and a half, breaks down all the, you know, who, what, when, where, why. But you and I had the pleasure of speaking, so that probably, you know, was a little bit more personable, I'll say.
It really was. It really did make me, you know, it made me help my decision, I'll say. So that was one of you got a good personality.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Y'all heard that? I got a good personality. So now we're going to talk about, so you purchase, you know, it's a lot of money. And I feel like people either go one of two ways. I feel like people either go into, okay, she knows what she's doing, let her rock. Or, oh my God, this is so much money. I ain't have it no way. And I'm scared to death. And they can kind of like overly, you know, DM you, overly email you. And we have a whole team in place of processors, customer service agents, and all these people. But they'll still come to me, not realizing on the other side of this, I am beyond, like, I can't take the calls anymore. You know what I mean?
You have on your boss hat.
How about my boss hat? So once you got the application, got the packet, then take me from there.
All right, so after that, you mean after we paid, basically?
Yeah, after you pay,
So
you get the packet.
after we paid, you let me know this isn't going to be quick.
Right.
So that was the first thing I had to realize. It's not going to be quick. So I need to still do what I'm doing, you know? So I continued to do real estate. I still had a 9 to 5 up
Right.
at that point. But what I also did was research.
Right.
I never stopped
Right.
researching. So my first thing was learning, how can I find routes? How can I be successful? How can I make this work before I even have it going?
Right. And right there is where you won, because a lot of people, even with us doing it and even all the clients we have, and even though we do it for you, we can't scale it and grow it for you. So I love that you said, I mean, you got seasoned people who've been in this for 20 years who aren't advantageous enough to go and say, well, let me go find the loads. Everybody got a truck, don't nobody got no work. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you won right there.
Right.
But go ahead.
That was the biggest thing. I mean, like you said, I mean, I like that. There's been people 20, 30 years just driving.
Right.
And have not made any connections with
Right.
anybody to help them succeed, because
That's the
it's
key.
so much out here.
That's the key.
And it's it's very profitable.
It's very profitable.
All in who you know, what you know, but I would really say don't expect you to make them succeed.
Yeah, and don't expect me to call you every day or to really, if we're being honest, I get with you at the end, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to get into, though, trusting the process, because, again, it's not a quick process.
Yeah.
We're setting up an entire trucking company for you, and we have to, follow certain guidelines. Yes. We have to set up certain things, and certain things just take time,
yes.
Especially if you're doing it in the pandemic. We had a heightened, pandemic situation where some of our vendors that we go through to set it up, also they have, time lags and delays. So talk to me a little bit about trusting the process through the times where it wasn't the quickest, or, you may be getting antsy. How did you handle that?
Well, for me, I try to be patient anyway, right? Having these businesses, it never goes on the time that you want it to anyway. So we all have to understand that. I think it's harder for people that invested their last bit.
Right, for sure.
For sure. That don't understand that. And I wouldn't ever say invest your last bit on, a piece of business. It just doesn't work like that. So always be smart. Talk to your financial advisor. See if those are things that you can do. See if that's a move that you can make. And if it's not, don't do it right then, because you are gonna, you could potentially fail just on the money issue, not on the actual, trucks.
Yeah, I will say we've had a couple people who, man, it's my last, this is my last whatever. And I'm like, don't give me your last bit of money, because if something else happens for you and you really can't withstand, however much you send in, you're going to be mad at me, and you're the one that mismanaged your money, and that, you're going to be sour at me. What you mad at me for?
Exactly.
So I think that was a great point. Do not, if you can't withstand the weight, or if you robbing Peter to pay Paul, this is not the program.
Have at least a year of savings just for the trucking. Insurance alone is expensive.
Right.
And then there's the other things that come on. Even though you're not buying a truck, you're going to learn.
Right.
You may have to help pay for the truck. So you may get in reimbursements. Like, things happen.
And you're the boss.
You are the boss.
You're the boss. So ultimately, just like with my staff, if I don't get paid or my money don't come in, I can't look at my people and say, oh, I can't pay you. I got to figure it out.
You still have to pay them every whatever day it is, Friday, Monday.
Exactly.
They still have to get paid, and they expect to get paid.
And I think, too, what most people don't understand is you are the owner of the company. There are times where your own drivers, even though it's not your equipment, they may fall short, and they may need to get a load from A to B that you're gonna get paid out on, but they might not have gas money or something.
Exactly.
So they may hit you up and say, "Hey man, I need $200 real quick." Mm-hmm. Are you going to loan them the $200, or are you gonna let the load sit?
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to think about it though. That's gonna be your money. So is that $200 worth now, or is it gonna be that $1,500 that you get tomorrow?
Now, I think you started off with, if I'm not mistaken, did y'all get 2 trucks?
No, we started off with 1. And I like the advice you gave me, because I was hitting you up for 4. I was ready just to go in.
And what did I tell you?
You told me no.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you could do what you want, but you told me, you said, hey, just go ahead and wait it out.
Yeah.
You get 1, scale it, see how it is, and move forward like that. And I appreciate it, because what I did on my own was go back and go to truck stops.
You were already on it.
Yeah. On my own. I'm like, it is expensive to add the other 3. Why don't I just go ahead and see if I can get some more on my own?
I think that speaks a lot to your inner business acumen, because again, it is we'll do it for you, we'll set it up. but I don't take it and manage it for the rest of your life, and I don't grow it for you. And I mean, I can if you're gonna pay me to do it, but like I told you, just, hang tight, get one, see how it goes. But you were already, before we were even finished, like you said, at truck stops. The average person is just not going to do that. So it just shows me a winning, attitude from out of the gate.
Appreciate it.
How did you, is that something you were born with? Were you just like that?
I think it's just something that happened into growing businesses.
Right.
Because like I said, me and my wife have a real estate firm, so we had to.
Right.
House is not going to just pop up to
Right.
you. So we were always going out, looking for houses, communicating with people, getting contacts, and it just grew.
And that's the thing also too. I'm taking people who've never done trucking before, and you can do that, and you can be successful because, you hadn't done it. But you also understood business. You had other businesses. You understood that sometimes there's delays. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes there's areas where it might not be you, somebody else falls short. So your situation was, you were already seasoned, in my opinion. It might not have been trucking, but you were already seasoned in business, and you had the right attitude.
Right.
Attitude to take you pretty far.
It's not an easy thing. Like trucking isn't easy at all, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
And once you do get the right people in your corner, it can become easy. Once you have the right contracts and the right space, it really does make it a little bit easier to where you can enjoy the fruits of your labor regardless of how long it takes. If you really put the time in, you can.
Talk to me about, because I know you said that you were, you didn't know a lot about it. You did the research. So my perspective was I started out the other way. I actually went and bought a truck.
Right.
Which is why I came up with the program, because I didn't want people out here buying trucks and they had no business buying them. I'm sure that probably was a thought or an option for you.
Very much so.
So tell me what made you decide to go the turnkey way versus buying your own equipment, and the benefit of having the turnkey versus your own equipment.
Well, like you said, I was able to talk to you.
Right.
So when I was able to talk to you, because I think I did mention that to you, and you just kind of informed me, like, look, then you don't have to worry about that liability of fixing the truck, because it's not about, a when, it's not about if, it's when.
Right.
So, that was always the biggest thing. I was like, okay, I don't want to pay, $5,000-$10,000 for a truck and have that liability on me, because it's not really an asset that's going to make that is that much money. It's not a house. It's not appreciating. It is depreciating, even though it makes you money.
Right.
So when me and you have that conversation, I'm like, okay, I'll take that on. Now, when you get bigger, it might make more sense.
Right.
When you got a lot more income coming in, it might make more sense.
Okay.
But at a point when you're starting out, you let someone that's been seasoned driving do that. Because you even mentioned to me, you said, well, if you buy a truck and your driver doesn't want to drive anymore, you just leave it there.
Right. That has happened to me.
Like, what do you
that's
want to
why I
do?
was able to tell you that. I think, too, what's important, and I keep hearing you say, is I asked you, and you told me this. You'd be surprised how many people just don't listen. Yeah. Like, I'm not sitting here 20 years in the game because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sitting here winning because I get up and just, I'm on a wing and a prayer every day. Yeah. Like, I've done this from the bottom to the top. I've done it at the lowest levels, and I've done it at the highest. So I've seen pretty much everything that can happen in between. Gotcha. It's really important that you have to listen, and you got to pay attention to what I'm telling you, because our staff, we do this day in and day out. Mm-hmm. We make concessions, and we make, alterations along the way, just like any other business does. So I love nothing more for my client to be able to sit here and tell me like I'm successful, but you're successful because you also listened. You know what I mean? So I think that's a key factor in any industry. Mm-hmm. If I was coming to you and say, let's talk about some houses, what I'm paying you for if I'm not gonna listen to you?
Right.
That's
exactly.
kind of crazy, right?
That was my main thing. That's why I asked so many questions. I think that's why I got so much out of it, because if I'm gonna pay X amount of money, whatever it is, I'm gonna get as many questions as I can out of it. I have a whole notebook full of questions.
So let's go back into actually the process, because it does take about 90 or so days, give or take, your own situation and where you are located, and, a lot of different variables. Talk to me about following instructions during the course of the program, and also reading through your packet. I think that's another thing. Sometimes people just don't like to read. They give you all this money and expect for you to do it all, and we do. But there are documents we need from you. There's certain things we need, you to do. Right. So talk to me about just following instructions and how that went through the process.
I'll be honest with you. I think it was pretty smooth. The actual process of whenever you all needed something was pretty smooth. I think the part that was the most stressful, it took a while. Yeah. But I was in the height of the pandemic when I did mine also. So I also understood that everything was slow. There was hardly any employment for a lot of people. Right. So I got that. But you don't really know what to expect. You know, I don't think you gave me a date or a time. You just say,
I'll get it done.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
It'll
I'll be right back.
And one thing I can say is, from communication, nobody ever ignored or dodged me. So even if I did call, it's like, this is where we are. Right. This is what we're waiting for. That's all I can give you, and that's all I can really ask for. Right. Because you can't push the state to move any faster. Right.
And we have to go through the state. We have to go through certain offices. We have to deal with third parties. So it's so funny. People will give concessions to DMV, but we working with DMV on your behalf, and it's like people don't get it. But I think that's a great point. Global supply chain is not just goods; it's also services. If there's a pandemic and everybody gets sick, nobody can work. That affects everything. I don't think we really knew that until the pandemic actually hit. Right. For you, outside of that, did that do anything to your other businesses, or were y'all pretty?
Well, again, we were working a 9 to 5. That sent us all home. Right. I think for a lot of people, though, the pandemic made a lot of rich people, right?
Oh, for sure.
We were all sitting at home just learning, and if you didn't take advantage of that, right? Especially from the jobs that sent you home, like what were you doing? Right. So I think that was one of the main things. I think it was really a good timing. It was great timing, and I just think it was a timing thing for me. So
I would have to agree.
That's really it.
Let me ask you this, because I think from your perspective, as somebody who's gone through the process, I know that I know what I'm doing. Okay.
Right.
A potential client or a current client, if they haven't gotten to a certain part in the program, we give stuff like weekly emails and you can call and ask. But the surety of like, this girl and her staff really know what they're doing. Like I've been doing this for 20 hard, long years. Yeah. Talk to me about advice you would have for anybody who's going through the process, because with anything, it is a lot of information we give you. I give you the timetable and all that stuff up front. But again, a lot of people don't like to read through, and I'm guilty myself. I'll skim through some stuff, or, especially if I trust the person that's doing it, my realtor or whatever, I'll skim through some stuff or whatever. But talk to me about your advice to a current client who's in processing, and how they should conduct themselves and just kind of go through the process the right way.
Patience. Patience is going to be your biggest thing, and also hustle. Yeah. You have to build it yourself. You have to scale yourself. Learn the industry. At some point, they're going to tell you who's your insurance with. Right. Communicate with your insurance. Figure things out. How many trucks you can add. How many drivers you can add. Right. How long can the drivers have been driving? Do they just have to have CDLs, or do they have to have just prior experience? All of these things, there's going to be 100 more questions you can ask. Right. But start the conversation. I agree. Because if you don't start the conversation, you're going to miss out. And it's not just with the insurance. Like I said, there's places you can go. Right. It's so much media out here. For yes, sure. Even if you choose, Casey, there's so much other things you can look at to help your company grow. You could make thousands of dollars a week before she gets you officially set up. That's true. If you really know what you're doing. Okay. Just having the authority is enough. Right, to get you started. Making money. That's a really good point. Another thing I wanted to address is it's funny because we spend all this money marketing and doing videos and, digital ad dollars. And I've been doing this online now for like 5 years. Right. I think anybody can look at my brand or just go, scroll up my page and you can see the growth. Like I do this day in and day out. I think it's very unfair that sometimes, people make comments or say crude things. And
a lot of it's not even from my clients. It's from other people who like, yeah, right, downward, yeah, right. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, right. You just a pretty face. It's so aggravating. I typically don't read it, but if somebody puts something under like my personal page and I see it, so that's actually how Ronaldo and I decided to do this. He actually saw a comment that somebody commented who wasn't even in the program.
So I didn't even know that.
Right, they're not even in the program. It's never the people that you actually deal with. It's always somebody else. And he commented, I think you were like, you got to be patient or you got to trust the process or something. And I ended up DMing you. Talk to me about when you do see comments like that, because I have helped you and I kept my word. I did what I said I was going to do. I think sometimes, especially minorities and black folks as a whole, sometimes we get a little, if it's a high price point, oh, it's a scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. And I work too hard for anybody to call me a scammer. You know what I mean? I'm very heavily vetted with the government. So even if I wanted to scam, I can't scam no way.
Right.
Because I do business at the highest level. Every year I'm vetted. I cannot be out here scamming. I think it just scares some people that, or some people are like, why are you paying so much money? You can do it yourself. Well, there's always somebody who don't want to do it themselves. Right. You can also go out here and get your own home and buy your own house without a real estate agent, but people do it every day. So talk to me about when you see the crazy comments and your thoughts on that.
So I rarely look, right?
Right.
So that day in particular.
That was God that day.
I was scrolling and I saw it and I'm like, I've been unhappy with the trucking, right? Like the first driver I had wasn't great for me.
Right.
We could talk about that later, but it wasn't like a great situation. But you always kept your promise.
Right.
It was like, oh, they haven't been there for a month. I got you.
Right.
So when that happened, I'm like, you keep your promise. I'm like, why bash somebody when you haven't even gotten this situation? It would have been different if they said you didn't keep your promise.
Right.
But they were just going off on you because maybe they were unhappy at that point. I don't know. But it wasn't accurate. So for me, I rarely ever comment on anything like that. But I was just like, hey, just trust it. I just was in a good mood. Just trust it. Like it is gonna work. And again, because I had been in a bad place, but at that point in time, I was in a working good place. Now I started, and you introduced me to my second OO, and he's been great. He's been more like a mentor since I've had him. So I was in a real good place. You put me in that good place. Your company put me in that good place. So
Thank God for that comment.
That was more of the reason.
No, I appreciate that because, like, when it goes well, people go out on their merry way. They make their money, and you typically don't. You don't get too many thank yous, which I'm not looking for that either. The thank you was you paid me. You know what I'm saying? But when somebody else comes for you, and then you take the high side and you're like, no, you got to chill. Like, it means more because you've walked through it. But I'll say this. I think that, I don't know, people just so skeptical. You know what I mean? I think people look for bad things to say. I don't look like a trucker. If you saw me walking down the street, you damn sure wouldn't think that I have this, crazy elaborate background in trucking. So I think sometimes people are like, yeah, right. A lot of like the truckers. Yeah. They're in my comments all the time, and I don't let it get to me because at this point I don't care. But I want to thank you.
But
for that.
Fellas, don't think that.
Yeah.
Female drivers have seemed to be the best drivers. Like I'm sorry, but out of my drivers that I've had, sorry, my guys.
And too, I want everybody to understand this is a program that I wish somebody had done for me because it would have saved me so much money, so much time, so much sweat equity on the side of the road breaking down with my own trucks. But then too, we vet the drivers by FMCSA standards.
Yeah.
So if we go out here and we vet a driver and we match you with the driver and something goes awry outside of our control, I can only vet him according to the standard there is to vet him.
Right.
I don't know this dude's personality type.
Man.
I don't know that his mama left him on his grandmama's porch when he was 7 years old and he hates women, so now he's cussing the dispatcher out. I don't know that. You don't know that. Just like if you had hired your own driver. So like you said, your first driver, he wasn't the greatest for you.
No.
Well, we do offer the warranty. So like I said, I'd get you another driver. And tell me about your second driver.
All right, so my second driver, I'm still with him now. And since him, we've grown from, I think I had one when I met him, and now from him alone, we grew to 4. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he's been driving for, I think 20 plus years. He's a trainer at at a huge company, so he just has trucks and.
And let me just interject too, because I think that's important what you said. You say he's been driving for 17 years. A lot of people, I see a lot of comments like, well, if I have a company and they have the truck, why would they come drive for me? So a lot of people who have trucks, they just don't want to deal with the authority. They don't want to deal with dispatching, especially a lot of these old school drivers. A lot of times they just want to get in the truck and roll. So speaking to your point, he's been such an asset for you.
Yes.
Even though he's not the company owner, his expertise in another, lane or knowing drivers still helped you. So you're able to take advantage not only of him driving the truck for you, but you were able to take advantage of him finding you
just
more
his
drivers.
Knowledge. Yeah, that and his knowledge in general. I mean, the things that you set us up for business, right? But you got to set yourself up for success. So it's so much in the business that you don't know. You don't teach us the rules of what's going on, in your authority. It's so much that I have to learn as I go.
Right.
With your ELDs, safety rules that you have to do.
Just day-to-day trucking stuff.
Just the day-to-day work that comes into it is something that that's not for you to set
that's
up.
kind of more like safety, audit, that kind of stuff kind of comes later on down the road. Give me a little bit of what your day-to-day looks like. So let's start from when you had your first truck. Let's start with your second driver.
Okay.
What your day-to-day looked like. And when you started to identify, like, hold up, I can take what he knows and like flip it and make more money.
Right. So for me, I'm very hands-on.
Right.
So that was the main thing. A lot of people just wanted to really be like turnkey, but to the point where you don't have to do anything. I wanted my company to succeed.
Right.
So being hands-on was the main thing. It had to be how I wanted it to be. So I would wake up 6 in the morning and get on the phone with dispatch.
Right.
I don't even think she likes me that much.
That's okay. It worked out.
We're actually really cool. But yeah, we'll get on the phone. Hey, I needed 3 days.
This is what I need my week to add up to.
I needed to add up to this. And what are you looking at? Because I'm going to be on here with you.
Right.
So this is what we're about to figure out. But what I figured out, what I was doing I was learning as I go. I ain't never dispatched before.
Right.
Now I could probably easily dispatch by myself.
I'm sure you could.
So that was the beginning.
Right.
That was the very beginning, just making sure dispatch. Then I stepped away from that. Now, like you said, down the road, safety.
Yeah.
So my owner-operator now, 20 plus years, hey, now he's my safety manager.
Right, boom.
So I break him off a little bit of extra, and he does the safety portion. Any drivers that we have,
right,
we send them something. We make sure that,
he's onboarded.
And they got to communicate with him. I tell them, every single one, hey, Jack is going to give you a call anytime you have a hard break.
Call Jack. Don't call me, call Jack.
Jack is going to call you.
Okay.
So it's not even a question. I'm like, and that's our interviewing point. If you cannot, constructively listen, then we don't want you.
Right. Period.
Because we're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's, we're not going to have anybody bring down our business.
Oh, for sure.
For that.
Outside of so let's say a typical person going to a job, and then you're able to, do all you need to do from home. How much time would you say you spend on just trucking?
Just trucking? I mean, now it's a lot of my time. To be honest with you, it is a lot of my time, but it's because I'm growing so fast.
Right.
If I just had one truck,
you probably wouldn't.
It wouldn't be as much.
Do you feel like even though you do a lot, that you have the freedom to?
I love having the freedom. I'm here, right? Like if I would have had a 9 to 5, I couldn't.
And they don't know. Before we started, you were walking around taking calls, and I'm thinking to myself, he working more than I work. Okay, but I mean, somebody's got to man the phones and do all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about the freedom aspect of, you have trucks on the road, and I'm sure you have a dispatcher, and you have, all this going on. Yeah. But being able to move freely.
As anywhere you go, because you could pick up a phone and do it anywhere.
Right, anywhere.
Right, me and my family just went to Mexico in February. I mean, not February, I'm sorry, in November. But I could still work from there if I needed to. It didn't stop business.
You just need a cell phone and Wi-Fi.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, barely need a computer. I take it with me, but that's something you barely need. So I love having the freedom. I mean, it helps on the day-to-day. I mean, sometimes I want to sit down and do the logistics of it, but
sometimes you
rarely
don't.
did I have to.
Right.
So that's the better part. And like I said, if you want to be lazy and have one truck, you could probably do nothing.
Right.
But the money comes into when you
grow and scale
yourself.
for sure. So speaking of the money, I'm sure everybody wants to know. Drum roll, please. What are you actually making, and are you actually making money? Let's start there.
All right. So I'll just say I have a contract now.
Okay, contract.
I have a contract now with a company that is $18,000 a week per truck.
Okay.
And we have 3 trucks currently running and 2 more trucks to start in the next
So you're onboarding 2 more.
weeks or so.
So you are making money, are you not?
Yeah, we're doing good.
You're doing all right?
We're doing okay.
And I think it's another point that I think is, tantamount to the program, and we need to discuss it is, you see these 85% take home, 75% take home. All these people have these different, percentages they give.
Yes.
People seem to think that the percentage or your percentage, what you keep, that your bills have to come out of that. Can you speak a little about your take home percentage?
Right. So it's truly 85%, right? If I say a truck is making $18,000 and I take 15% of that, but to be honest, everything else comes out in settlements.
Right.
And you all teach
Right.
me how to do it. You sit down and it's not hard.
Right.
But it's something that's regular to the drivers.
Right.
Me
It's
coming
standard.
into
Right.
it, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But then I look at it and every driver's like, oh, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuel. Okay. Insurance.
Right.
Okay. Like these are things that
It's
used
standard
to.
deductions,
Right.
right.
And it's only 6 or 7, which is minimal compared to other
Oh my God,
companies.
yeah.
When there's 10, 12, I won't name the companies,
Right.
but the drivers that I have are used to more deductions coming
way
out.
more bogus deductions
Yeah.
than we are.
So when you actually do get to take that money now, how you take it and how smart you are with it, that does matter. You have to really get an accountant, a bookkeeper, and that's why you need to be bigger, because those are things you need to afford, because you need to make sure that you are taking the right amount, doing the right thing, because you can't say I'm taking 15%, take 20, and
Right.
that throws off everything.
How's that 15% looking on those
Right.
trucks though? How that 15% looking weekly?
How
you living?
I mean, like I say, you got to do the math, right? 3 trucks, and we have more than 3, but we're just talking about
We're just talking
one
about 3,
contract, right?
15%,
so
right.
3 trucks, and they're making $56K a week.
Right.
So
Ain't a bad week, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And that is let's be clear, that is your,
it's our take home.
right.
15% of
15%, that's
56K.
your take
Yeah.
home. That's not, you're paying insurance out of that.
Right.
That's your profit,
Right.
pure profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of you. I mean, I'm really impressed.
Oh, thank
A lot of people just don't. And like you said, it's not hard. You just can't be lazy.
Right.
A lot of people just do not take the initiative to grow their business. If I'm starting it for you, the least you could do is grow it.
Get out there, man.
What
Get out
about,
there.
you talked a little bit about promoting before we even got started. Give us some ideas or potential clients on things they could do to actually promote. Let's say, I just started, I don't have a lot of money, I invested. What can I do to get out there and promote and find other drivers?
Facebook. There's so many trucker groups on Facebook.
You sound like me.
Black trucker groups,
Right.
regular trucker groups,
Right.
owner-operator groups, dispatch groups. So many groups out here on Facebook. And if you like to put your feet on the pavement and you're somewhere that has a port, go to a port.
Let's go.
Talk to these people. Talk to these brokers. Call the companies. Google logistics. You'll see 100-something companies come up. Call them. Hey, I'm about to be a new carrier. Got anything? Got any independent routes? Got any,
Ask for something.
Just ask.
Just
and
ask.
that opens up, because they want your money.
They want your money.
And, so just communicate. Talk to your family.
Yeah.
Especially these old heads.
Yeah.
A lot of them drive or drove at some point of time or driving now or know somebody that drives.
Right. Like your guy.
Like my guy. And I mean, and that's how I've grown. I mean, I did meet one on my own, but then he introduced me to
Word of
somebody.
mouth. Yeah.
And he was just like, I kept him away from you for like 3, and then he introduced me to somebody. So it's like, now we're growing together.
Right.
And
Together, I like that.
We're all sharing this pot.
I like
we
that.
talk every day. I don't think my family's happy about it. But
I mean, hey, they eating though. They eating
wanna
steak
be
and
successful.
lobster, right? Y'all ain't eating no hamburger helper over there, okay?
You know my kids love McDonald's.
It's all good. Hey, now you'll buy them a McDonald's next. So it's fair to say, I mean, we know turnkey has changed your life.
Yeah, I would say for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it to somebody else?
I would recommend it, but only if you have the drive to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not going to be something that you can just really sit back. Turnkey means she set it up for you.
Right.
It don't mean she gonna grow it for you.
Right. I mean, hell, what else do you want me to do? I done set the whole program up for you. And I think too, another misconception is people say, oh, you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. Mess around and go to FMCSA's website and don't know what you're doing and try to file for an authority and you get a passenger bus authority versus a DOT, MC number. Mess around and go to FMCSA's website and do a bulk authority and try to take your truck or vehicle over the state line. Mess around and do an intrastate authority versus an interstate authority and take that truck
And then get
over the
pulled
state
over
line.
by DOT.
Yeah, so it's not, there's a lot of compliance that goes to it. Like you said, we set it up, but there are some intricacies that you just do not know. So, I mean, that's...
DOT doesn't play.
DOT does not play.
That's the main thing. And then, we talked about, you asked me what else they could do. Look into DOT.
Yeah.
Forgot
That's a whole
about that,
nother
but
realm.
Those are things it's gonna make you successful.
Yeah.
Like those are that things that you have to really dig into.
And there's companies that can do it for you if you want. I just think you were very forward thinking and just very ambitious to even want to know. A lot of people just like, she gonna do it for me. But I mean, there's nothing you're gonna be able to go out here and just do and take your eyes off of it, and you don't have to worry about anything, and you just gonna have all this money.
You have to put that on you though. Your marketing is good.
Well.
So so people sitting here and think like, hey, that's what I can do.
Yeah.
You never say that, but it's like, oh, it's gonna be easy, and
and that's so true. People say, well, it's not as easy as you said. I didn't say it was easy, and I damn sure didn't say it was hard.
Never,
I just said it's
never.
possible. Why do you care if it's easy, hard, or everything is easy? Anything is easy, hard. What difference do it make? Getting up every day, dealing with folks in any industry is a thing. And maybe is it difficult? I don't know. It depends on your bandwidth for that. But I think that's a good point. People are like, you make it seem so easy. Well, it ain't hard, and it damn sure ain't impossible.
Right.
So is easy or hard the measure for if we gonna do it or not?
It'll be really easy days. There'll be days where I'll touch a phone.
Right, phone don't even ring.
I don't touch anything, and then there'll be a day where I'll wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm on
there
the
you
phone
go.
till till 12 o'clock because everything happened to every driver under the sun that day.
And
So
that's
it
also
depends.
according to your scalability. If you're just somebody who's one person, y'all have one truck, you got a husband, you got a wife, she helping you admin, and you're managing one truck, that's something else.
Right.
But if you in 4, 5, 6 trucks, that's a different ball game.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just levels to this. So to see you growing and just glowing and going and
I appreciate
anything else that starts with a G is really it's good for me to see because I don't get to see, like I said, when it works well and people are making money, nobody comes back to say, I just want to thank you, blah, blah, and I'm not looking for that.
Right.
But on the flip side, if one thing goes wrong, everybody down your back, they come in with a nasty comment. So it's really refreshing, even on my end, because we're growing too. We're scaling too. We're changing things all the time. I'm sure it's a little bit different now than when you came through.
It is.
But nevertheless, always the more I'm here so that people who come after I've had all my hard days, you did not have to endure 16 years of the BS I went through to sit here and say, this man taking care of his family, his babies, y'all on vacation, y'all in Mexico, y'all eating steak and lobster, just because, I had a blueprint that was easier than what I had to give to you. And now look, you've taken it and have ran with it. So that really makes my heart smile, Ronaldo.
And I still talk to some of your team.
Yeah.
I still talk to Tashi.
For sure.
Yeah.
Tashi. Shout out to Tashi.
She called me randomly.
Yeah. If you're a
How's it
turkey, you're
going?
going to talk to Tashi for sure.
Yeah, she still calls me. So, I appreciate that because she doesn't have to. And like I said, it's been going since at least August of 21. So, we're about to push 2 years that we've still been communicating with each other. So it's been nothing but positive. Like I said, you have your down times, you have your rough times. I'm sure we'll speak on that. But right now and what's going on, I love it.
Yeah.
I love seeing my company grow.
I'm sure.
You know, I'll take the growing pains.
Yeah.
Especially just to realize what it can be.
Oh yeah, I mean you're gonna have pain points with anything, and let's talk about some of them. So to any potential clients out there, so what would be some of the issues you would find or you would have to deal with your drivers?
You want to talk about my first one? I
don't remember, but come on.
So my first driver that was added on, he didn't like his first pay. I helped him out. His first settlement.
Did he work a full week? Or?
He worked 10 days.
Okay.
His truck, the hoses on the back of his truck were messed up, so he couldn't add a trailer.
Right.
So I gave him the money for it. It came to like $1,600 or so. So we had a short week. I think he only made like $500 that week after everything. And, you know, I didn't even take my portion out.
Right.
It was just that. Yeah. But I still took my money out from fixing his trailer.
Right.
Still wanted them to have something. I know that about business. If you don't keep people happy,
gotta treat your people good.
Yeah, you still gotta treat them good. I'm like, you know, we'll settle it down the road. It took him like 2 days to kind of realize it. He was like, nah, I wanted all my money. I'm like, well, you know what you...
Them hoses said otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm like, well, you know, I got your hoses fixed on the truck. So what, you know,
so
what
you
do
owe me.
Yeah, what do you expect for me to do? Just, you know,
Let
pay
you
for your
skate?
truck?
Yeah,
pay for your truck. So that was, you know, that was our issue there. He took one more load and decided in the middle of that load that he didn't want to do it anymore and dropped the trailer off in the middle of the highway and just left.
Yeah, they can get trifling like
and
that.
just left.
And again, although that's not, you know, what I want to happen, it's happened to me. I mean, it's the nature of the beast. Like, people gonna be trifling in any industry. It's just, you know, it's the nature of the beast.
And then butt dialed me like 3 weeks later.
Oh, wow.
After he wasn't answering the phone. But what I can say is you were just like, hey, let's get this paperwork out. We'll get you another one.
Yep.
And you did. And it actually probably worked out better for me.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Yeah.
Because of who I have, you know, in my corner now. Because we work together, but they seem like also, like I said, friends and mentors. So it was probably just, you know, God's willing, like pushing them like, this ain't the one for you.
Yeah, and I like what you said about that too, because we hire on the owner-operators for you. A lot of people don't know the owner-operators are small businesses also. So they're going to be more prone to, you know, want to make money, want to get out there. And I can't speak to everybody's mindset. But he's a small business, you're a small business, I'm a small business. Small businesses want to make money. So I'm sure he's got a family to feed just like you do. He's going to be more apt to go out there and do what he needs to do to get paid versus if you had a truck, your own truck with a driver who I don't feel like working today because he don't have a truck note. You know what I'm saying? And now you got a truck note, you got insurance, you got all this other stuff, you got repairs. It's just, you know, that could be, and it can be, and I mean, has been.
Still think they should get paid.
Right.
It's still, you know, so that's just the thing. It is building like a rapport with who you have. And if you do have a good team behind you, which you can't vet that. You can, like you said, you can't vet the person's personality, right? You can't vet how they are. But whenever you do get that person and that team, it really does help your growing.
For sure. Who's on your team?
I have Johnny. He's my OO, and which started off with a few other drivers.
Shout out to you, Johnny.
Yeah, he came through you, and
Look at that.
I mean, he loves. I can say he loves doing what he's doing. He's really smart about all of that. So we started off actually with the dispatch that you gave us, and branched off to another, which is he's related to him too. So now we have a team there.
You have a team from a team.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we have a team from a team. We have 3 drivers there. And then, like I said, I met a friend that met a friend. He introduced me to someone, and then that's how we branched off.
Networking.
So now all of them, they communicate. So now it goes from the 2 teams I built to there. I have a owner-operator, another one that I met in Tampa. His name is Tim. What's up, boss?
What's up, Tim?
You know, he brings on a driver as well. So we've kind of just been expanding from there, helping each other out. I mean, they're all very knowledgeable and have done it so much longer than me. Right. I just think I'm good at doing the business side.
Right. You might be the connector. Yeah. Nothing wrong with being somebody got to do it.
I don't mind being the plug.
I mean, hey, being the plug doesn't pay bad. Let me just say. Okay.
Being the plug. Yeah. So I mean, And then we stretched out, and then we have a newly acquired guy. His name is Curtis. What's up, Kurt?
What's up, Curtis?
He is another OO, and you know he has a knack of just knowing people.
Yeah.
So a gift of gab that's been positive in helping us find more and more drivers again, because we're expanding so much. Is like those are the things we need. So it just seemed like things have started to fall into place because of the hard work that we've been putting in.
For sure. So who would have known that a girl that popped up on your Explorer page that you kind of, you know, watched and kind of, you know, spirit of discernment.
YouTube,
vetted a little bit. And also, I want to take credit for my own personal growth. Like, you got to, you know, this is the stuff I have to do to stay relevant in my field. I can't just be regular, you know. I got to go out here and, you know, be innovative in my marketing efforts, just like I had to do in trucking. But, you know, you saw me, you followed through, you did the call, you went from literally one truck to now you have this. I mean, this is a network. This is like a mini conglomerate over here with all these people in trucks.
So we're at 8, and we will probably have more. But again, this is why I can say talk to your insurance, because my insurance won't let me have more than 8. So if I could, I would probably have more than 8. It just make you scale slower. But it's a liability. So I understand that's a business thing, and
it's still there. I mean, you still have the room to grow.
Right. You still, I mean, you could always switch insurance. I'm just cheap.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, even with us, like sometimes I have to watch how fast we grow. Because everybody wants growth, but you got to manage that growth. So, I mean, even to go from still one truck to now where you are, just branching out into different facets and learning all the stuff you do, again, it just speaks to the concept of the program. But like you said, folks, you have to take it, you have to nurture it, you have to water it. And, you know, everybody's not going to be you. You know, you have some people who want just supplemental income. I want to make an extra $1,000 a week. You know, I that's what I want to do. You know, I ain't trying to do a whole lot. You have somebody like yourself who knows, next year you could be at 30 trucks easy. The way it's going, it sounds like it's going to get there.
I think so.
Yeah.
I do.
So again, just to hear the story and like follow through, you know, learn about the pain points and to see kind of, even with, like you said, with your first driver, he wasn't like, you know, the best driver you had, but you know, how it worked out for you in the end really just makes me so happy. Anything else you want to share with the viewers?
Don't let the downfalls deter you.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like that, I mean, it was a bad driver. I mean, there's a whole bunch of bad people out here. What does that mean? You know, just keep going. This is your business.
Right.
So if you don't work hard at it, nobody else is. So you can't expect you to work your ass off for my business.
Right.
And me to just sit back.
Right.
And
Where they do that at?
Yeah, and not do anything. So you have to work hard at it. It's not easy. You're going to learn so much about business. You're going to learn so much about trucking. Even if you've already been in the industry, you're going to learn so much. Be open to it. Keep notes. Continue asking questions.
Promote.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the secret.
Meet people. You know, connect with these people. All of that, it's so much money out here.
It is.
I promise you. It's unlimited sources of money out here. It's not somewhere where, you know, you can just make $700 a week, you know,
and
per
that's
truck.
Your cap. Yeah.
You know, it's
out here. You got to go get it though.
There are contracts out here with people making, you know, you can sign $2 million contracts, you know, in the blink of an eye if you do it right.
Right.
There are states out here that, I mean, another thing I looked at, there are states out here that have consulting that's free, that deal with DOT, that deal with government contracts, that deal with just, you know, anything that has anything to do with your authority. You can just Google those and they're free. I have a lady that I talk to monthly. She's free. She schedules a contract. Hey, I want you to do this. Hey, by the next time we talk, do this.
Right.
She gives me homework.
Right.
You know, and it may be
a free
one
resource,
piece, but it's a free resource that's very lucrative.
Yeah.
And it doesn't ask for anything. So just continue to like actually keep your drive until you can sit back and ride. That I think that's going to be the main key.
Yeah. Well, again, much success to you. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ronaldo Scherer. He's one of my A+ students in my turnkey trucking program. He sat here and he told you guys, how he started, where he is now. It really is a wonderful program. Again, I tell everybody this. I wish somebody had had this back when I was crazy enough to get in trucking, because it just would have saved me so much time. Trucking is very lucrative, as we see. I don't know, Richie Rich over here with his trucking conglomerate. He done got, but really it's, my parents are in it. I have friends who are in it. Again, on the low end, you can make, 1,000 or so every week if you want to just supplement. But the true benefit is it's equipmentless. So you don't have to worry about your truck breaking down in the middle of the night and, getting that call and trying to get off the side of the road. It's automated, and you can make money and you can grow and scale.
You can. You really can.
You really can. Mm-hmm. You heard it here first. Did I pay you to say that? Nah, damn, I can't afford you. Can I afford you?
I'll take it though. No.
I'll take it though. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Casey Cooper of the Compass Circle. If you are wondering about our turnkey trucking program, we are all over social media at the Compass Circle on Instagram. Our website is www.thecompasscircle.com/turnkey trucking. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share for more videos just like this.